Hey, and welcome to Homeschool-ology. Welcome, and my name is Nikki. I'm a homeschooling mom of 4, and on this channel I talk to you about secular homeschooling, motherhood, and during these summer months we are going to be talking about some of our family travels that we did over this summer. We are back from them. In today's video, I'm giving you a trip recap. How did things go? What did we end up following our schedule? All those good things. And then I'm going to be sharing with you the videos that I have coming up for you about our trip. So if you're new here and you don't know, we go on a summer vacation pretty much every year out west. My family owns a ranch out in Wyoming, and we often visit the ranch. This year the ranch was closed because we are doing some renovations out there, and so we decided to go ahead and still take our trip, but hit some of the places that we don't always get to. Some places that are a little bit further out that we don't always have time to hit, and some of the places we've been wanting to see. So that is what we did, and we went on the trip, and it was excellent. In fact, we got home, and a day or two later my mom asked, "Are you excited to be home?" And I was like, yeah, but not really. You know, we were having such a great time. It was probably one of the first times ever I was on vacation and I just wasn't ready to come home. We were having a great time. Yes, the car rides were long, and yes, the car rides were stressful at times. There was a lot of arguing and couldn't make one of my daughters happy. No matter what I tried, she just was never happy. But despite all that, we had so many great adventures and so much fun. It was a blast, and I would do it again in a heartbeat. So if you hadn't, I do have a video here where I explained what we were going to be doing. And for the most part, we followed the schedule pretty much the same. We did have a little bit of an emergency, and the day before we were supposed to leave, we ended up having to head south instead of west. And so that kind of threw a little bit of a kink in our plans, but things ended up being okay, and we were able to get back on track by like day 2 of our vacation. We were back where we were supposed to be, and so things went really well. So we were supposed to leave at night on the 9th, and that didn't happen. We ended up, we ended up leaving on the 10th. We got back here at 2 a.m. to our house at 2 a.m. on the 10th, repacked the car with all of the things that we had gotten ready for a vacation. Thank goodness for once in my life I wasn't being a complete procrastinator, and I was ahead of the game on getting ready. And so we were able to pack the car up, sleep a little bit, and then get up and get back on the road. We started out only 6 hours behind, and so we made up those 6 hours over the course of the next 2 days, and it worked out great. So our first stop was our first real stop. You know, we live in Florida, and we're headed out to Colorado and Utah. So if that is a long drive, and if you've never done a cross-country drive, the middle of the country is just a lot of farmland and a lot of open space, which is wonderful, except that means there is nothing to do for hours. Sometimes there's not even a gas station for 30 or 40 miles. So it can get long. Those days can get very, very long. So being prepared with things like surprise bags and travel binders, which I've shared videos on, I'll link them down below in the descriptions. Having things like those really helped us. And then packing a cooler. It is vital that you pack a cooler if you're going to be doing a cross-country trip. You need to have things like sandwiches and a snack bag and drinks and all of that stuff in your car, because I'm not kidding when I say there are times where there will not be a gas station for 40 miles. So you need to be prepared, especially if you have kiddos, because they're going to get hungry when you are 30 minutes from anywhere. So just be aware that that is a very vital part to traveling with kiddos. And then, so our first real stop was Denver, Colorado. We were planning to see our family that lives there, and unfortunately they had a business trip and were gone by the time, by the time we got there. So that unfortunately did not work out. We were super sad about it, but we still went ahead to Denver because we are going to be learning about the Titanic this coming school year, and my family that lives out there told us about Molly Brown's house that is in Denver, Colorado, and so it was the perfect opportunity to go ahead and check that out. So that was our first stop. We left Denver and we headed on over to Breckenridge. My son, my third child's name is Brecken, and yes, he was named after Breckenridge. We have visited this small town for many years and we love it, and but I also just loved the name Brecken. I thought it was unique and wonderful, so it wasn't entirely after that town, but we had a lot of fun telling him, he's only 5, and we had my husband had a lot of fun telling him that was his town, and he was just super excited about it. I had a lot of fun, although he was super disappointed to learn out that his town didn't have a Subway, and like not a Subway restaurant, but like a Subway under the ground, like New York City, because in his mind his town would have a Subway, because he just really enjoyed that experience when we did that. I've shared about that here, my East Coast road trip that we took last year, so that was super cute and a lot of fun. We had a blast there. And then after Breckenridge we went to Leadville, Colorado, and we had never been there before, and if you don't know, it's kind of this little sleepy town in the middle of nowhere that was a mining town, and so we went to a mining museum that was amazing, and we did a train ride through the mountains, which was so cool. I had never done anything like that before, so it was a really great experience. So I'm going to share, that will be our second video. We'll be learning about, or talking to you about what we did, and actually, I take that back. My first video is going to be all of Colorado, what we did when we went to Colorado. So all of that will be talked about in our in my next video next week. So it was so much fun. My youngest daughter's name is Aspen. She's mostly named after the aspen tree, but there is a town in Colorado called Aspen. So we did stop there. We'd driven through it a bunch. We'd never actually, gone into town there. So we did make a stop there, had lunch there, went and bought a t-shirt, of course, because you have to. And so we did make that stop as well. And then we headed from there into Utah to Arches National Park and Moab. And we had been to Arches before. I had been when I was a young child, but we didn't actually, I don't remember actually where we stayed. I was only like 11. We did take our kiddos back there, not last year because we were East Coast last year, but the year before that, we did go to Arches, but we only got to spend a few hours there, and it was not enough. So we knew we wanted to go back and spend more than one day in that area, and that's what we did. So that will be my second video. We'll be sharing about Arches National Park and what we did there, and we had a blast. That was probably one of our favorite stops on the entire trip. After we left Moab, we went to Zion. We stayed in St. George, which is a little bit outside of Zion. But we did Zion, and unfortunately Zion was a bust for us. It wasn't super kid friendly. I'm sure it's beautiful, and if you can actually see it the right way, with kiddos, it just wasn't what we were hoping for. So unfortunately that was a little bit of a bust, but we did find my friend that is traveling in an RV around the world right now, which I'm super jealous about, but she told us about the Coral Pink Sand Dunes, which is a state park in that area where you actually get to get a sled and sled down the sand dunes, and let me tell you, that was so fun. So I'll be sharing that adventure with you guys as well, because we had so much fun doing that. And then after that, we were headed back home. We were headed back east, and we left the Zion area, and we ended up cutting the Zion area. We were supposed to be there for 3 days. We ended up cutting a day early and headed back a day early. With the chaos of what happened before we left for the trip, we kind of just decided, let's get back a day early and have that last day before my husband goes back to work to kind of put our lives back together, because it had been been a crazy ride. We ended up heading back a day early, and then we had a stop overnight in Albuquerque, but we got in late at night and left first thing in the morning, so we didn't really do anything there. And then we headed on into San Antonio. I did a trip similar to this with my mom and stepdad when I was 11 years old, and I remembered going to the Alamo and just thinking it was so cool and so amazing. And so we wanted to hit there as well with my kiddos. It's nothing like I remember. I mean, it is. There are parts of it that I remember very vividly, but I had it in my brain that it was just, you know, a place in the middle of, you know, kind of nothingness. And it is like dead smack in the middle of the city. Like there's city all the way around it. And that was kind of like, wow, your child brain definitely creates memories. And they're not always exactly what you remember, but we had a great time at the Alamo. It was hot. They were in the middle of a heat wave in Texas, and boy, was it hot. So it was hot, but we had a lot of fun. It was really great. So I will be sharing a video on that, on the Alamo that we did, and it was so much fun. We loved San Antonio. We did the river walk like so many times. We went around, you know, there's like an area that's like a circle, and we went around the circle a bunch of times. We had great dinners. We were there for 2 days, and we just loved it. It was really a lot of fun. So we left San Antonio. We had originally planned to stay in New Orleans, but we decided we didn't want to go quite that far in the car, so we stayed a little bit outside of New Orleans. We decided to add a plantation tour, and I'm really glad we did. It was so much fun, but even hotter than San Antonio with the humidity added in. We were just puddles of sweat walking around. It was very hot, but so interesting. We really loved it. So I'm going to be sharing that with you as well in an upcoming video. It was Oak Valley Plantation, I think is what it was called. Oak Alley. It was Oak Alley Plantation. I'll link it down below. It was really beautiful. It was used in Interview with a Vampire. They filmed that there, and so I thought that was really cool. I loved that movie growing up. That was a lot of fun. We stopped in New Orleans for the day. We saw my friend who lives there and planned a whole other trip to go back in November when we're not going to die from all the heat. So that was a really fun trip, and then we headed back home. And so it was really a wonderful trip. We had so much fun. We enjoy exploring cities, and we enjoy exploring national parks. Oh, I forgot to mention, when we drove from Denver to Breckenridge, we went to Rocky Mountain National Park, and I can't believe I forgot to mention that because that was like one of our favorite stops. There was so much snow, and we played in the snow for hours, and the kids just loved every minute of it. It was so fun. So that video will be coming up. The first video is going to be, you know, like Denver, Breckenridge, Leadville, what we did in Colorado. The second video will be Rocky Mountain National Park. The third video will be Arches National Park. The fourth video, I'll be sharing like Zion and Coral Pink Sand Dunes, what we did there. And then the fifth video will be San Antonio. And then the sixth video will be Oak Alley Plantation, which is the plantation that we visited in Louisiana. And so that will be the next 6 weeks coming up for our Mondays, for our travel Mondays that we have been doing here over the summer. So look out for those videos. Make sure you are subscribed to this channel and have rung that notification bell so you can see when those are coming out. And that is all I have for you guys today. We had a wonderful trip. It was so much fun. We were kind of ready to be home. We missed our people, but we had such a blast on it. And the car rides were good. The way that the things that I set up were which were the travel binders and the surprise bags, which I have videos on. I'm linking down below. Those helped immensely. Being prepared with things like food and water helped immensely. And then the packing system ended up working out great, which that was my video last week, as our packing system. That ended up working perfectly. So everything, I had done so much prep work leading up to the trip that it really set us up for success, and we were able to relax and enjoy our time. And we just had so much fun. So if you do get a chance to do a road trip with your kids, don't be scared. Don't think that, don't be scared that the car ride is going to make it not worth it, because honestly, the car ride, even when they're grumpy, even when we had a hard day, we still had so much fun. Doing things, checking out our country, learning about different areas. So do it. Stop putting it off. Don't wait for your kids to get older. Well, I will say the 1 year we went with a newborn, that was not our best year, so maybe not a newborn. But even my daughter, she turned 3 on the vacation and she did excellent. She was actually probably the best one in the car out of all of them. And so don't put it off. Don't wait. Do it. Set yourself up for success and just take the trip, because I promise the memories are going to be so worth it. So that is all I have for you guys today. I hope you will stick around and chat with me. Remember, for the next 7 weeks, I think, or 6 weeks, I'll still be talking about travel on Monday, family travel on Monday, and we will be doing all our homeschool content on Wednesdays, except there might be a few exceptions. I think I have a collab that's one Monday, so I might flip it 1 week, but I have other homeschool content coming up for you guys, because we are gearing up for that new year. We start our new year in August, so that is coming right around the corner for us. We are year-round homeschoolers, so we are finishing up our year for July, and then gonna be starting all our new things the first week in August. So don't forget to head on over to Instagram and follow us at Homeschool-ology, and you can see what we're doing in our day-to-day life. And that is all I have. So I will talk to you guys again soon. I hope you will stick around and chat with me, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.